Ushtave. Today, we will be going over Gathas Song 9, Yasna 44. Translation of the Gathas by Dr. Khosrow Kazai. If I pronounce the name wrong, please correct me in the comments. I've only seen it spelled, but this is my very favorite translation of the Gathas. And so, Song 9, Yasna 44, verse 20. O Mazda, tell me this too. How can the deceitful one be a good leader? As those who, with the help of religious leaders and false gods, drug the world towards injustice, pain, and suffering, or those who have never tried in the radiance of righteousness to improve the conditions of life and lead the world to progress. Now I'm going to probably use some examples of current things that are happening today, just because I think it's very important to point out how, even though this was written thousands of years ago, even though this was composed thousands of years ago, it's still relevant to today and is relevant in all time. It's the simplicity of it that makes it genius. So, how can the deceitful one be a good leader? For instance, how could someone who insists on believing bad science, denying climate change, or thinking that nuclear power is just the best option, be a good leader? Especially when that bad science is motivated by self-interest. As those with the help of religious leaders and false gods drug the world towards injustice, pain, and suffering. Yeah, that's very relevant. Yes, and many religious leaders have backed political leaders. Political leaders know that the religious leaders have a major influence and could either help or hinder a political leader. And yes, many religious leaders, whether it's in the United States, whether it's in Saudi Arabia, have actually aided these self-interest, whether it's big monopolies or government or whatever, they've aided them in manipulating the populace into supporting something which is ultimately destructive for humanity. Or those who have never tried in the radiance of righteousness to improve the conditions of life and lead the world to progress. So righteousness, which would be Asha in its original translation. Righteousness, since we're translating it in English, emphasis on the word right. That which is true. So, pious actions come from a true perception. And so, basically the striving to live in the radiance of righteousness, the enlightenment, the awareness of what is going on. Only through awareness of what is happening in our world can we improve the conditions of life and lead the world to progress, and true progress, not only technological or scientifically, but ethical. You see, you cannot have good ethics without good science. And so that is the lesson for today. And just something to contemplate. This is just my interpretation, I admit. I read one verse every day from the Gathas, and I basically come to my own understanding of it, since it is about using your discernment anyway. But any questions or criticisms are welcome in the comments below. Yeah, I'm going to make a habit of recording myself, reciting the Gathas every morning, and posting a new video on YouTube every day, just to get me in the habit of reading it. So, radiant peace and happiness to everybody. Ushtave. And, well, since it's morning right now, good morning.